April 15th, 1945. Germany. 6:30 hours. Fog clings to the pines outside a camp near the town of Kleinwald. Dew glistens on barbed wire. The war is almost over. The front is broken. But inside the fence, time has stopped. A column of tired soldiers in Canadian uniform stands at the gate. Their boots crunch on gravel. The smell of diesel mixes with the stench of decay. Birds are silent. Only a low hum of generators and distant artillery breaks the quiet. The protagonist is a sergeant named James O'Neill, 30 years old, farm boy from Ontario. He has fought from Normandy to the Rhine. His uniform is faded khaki. His hands tremble slightly from months of combat. In front of him hangs a padlocked gate. Behind it, gaunt faces peer through wire. A white armband marks a prisoner who has become a leader among the captives. He signals with a raised fist. Guards in gray coats lie on the ground, disarmed and tied. O'Neill looks at his watch. It ticks. 60 seconds until the gate opens. He has orders to take control, to disarm the guards, to secure the site. He knows nothing prepares a man for what he will see. He takes a breath. The air is sharp, metallic. He can taste iron. He looks at the faces in the camp, eyes like hollow wells. A man with a shaved head stares back. Their gazes meet. Time slows. The sergeant feels something twist inside. Then the padlock snaps. The chain falls. The gate swings open with a groan. The white armband prisoner rushes forward, not to embrace, but to strike. He carries a broken table leg. His target is a young guard, maybe 17, wearing an SS collar. O'Neill's heart pounds. He knows he has a choice to make. The Allied armies are closing in from all sides. In April 1945, Germany is collapsing. Cities lie in ruins. Refugees clog roads. The sound of boots echoes through streets. The air smells of smoke and mud. The Rhine has been crossed. American, British, and Canadian units push east, while the Red Army encircles Berlin. Soldiers are exhausted. They have seen friends killed. They have seen towns flattened. Their morale swings between vengeance and weariness. News of concentration camps filters through. Rumors of atrocities once dismissed as propaganda now prove true. Photographs of corpses, stacked like cordwood, appear in makeshift newspapers. Everyone is angry. O'Neill's company learned 2 days ago about a camp discovered by another unit. Men swore, wept, or stared into the distance. They resolved to show no mercy to anyone in a gray uniform. Yet orders came: liberate the camp, secure the prisoners, treat the wounded, detain the guards. Command wanted evidence, not revenge. But soldiers are not machines. When they reach Kleinwald, they smell charred flesh and human waste. The gate is electrified but dead. Inside, the ground is muddy. Lice crawl on the prisoners' clothes. A few children cling to their mothers. Many lie on straw mats, too weak to stand. The smell of carbolic soap is faint, overpowered by rot. O'Neill's boots sink into the muck. He hears the whimper of a girl and the sob of a man. The noise of freedom is not cheers, but coughing and crying. The prisoners are starving. Their ribs show. Some collapse when the soldiers approach. Others surge toward the gate with sticks and stones, eyes burning with rage. They have been waiting for this moment. They do not want justice in a court. They want to kill their captors with their own hands. Among the guards, fear mingles with defiance. Many have thrown down their rifles. A few still wear weapons. Their SS runes are visible. Some are older men with grizzled faces. Others are boys, conscripts pulled from Hitler Youth units. They are dirty, hungry, and frightened. The youngest looks around 18. His helmet is too big for his head. He mutters "Bitte" under his breath as he is dragged past O'Neill. The sergeant feels a jolt. He thinks of his own younger brother, who enlisted and died in Normandy. He thinks of the oath he took to obey orders and to fight with honor. He also thinks of the orders issued yesterday, whispered in the trenches: "No prisoners." War has turned the men around him into executioners. O'Neill wants to follow orders. He wants to survive and go home. He also wants to remain human. The tension between discipline and conscience tightens like a rope. Around him, Allied soldiers shout at the prisoners to stand back, but few listen. A corporal kicks a guard in the stomach. Another soldier pulls a pistol. The camp's commandant lies bleeding, his cap gone. A Russian prisoner grabs a rock, ready to strike. O'Neill raises his hand to stop him. His voice is hoarse from days without rest. "No," he says. It is one word, but it carries weight. The prisoner hesitates. The mob surges. O'Neill feels the first drops of rain, cold water on his face. He shivers. The moral storm builds. Detail by detail, the reality sinks in. The camp consists of wooden barracks, a watchtower, and a crematorium. Flies swarm over piles of clothing. A smell of burnt rubber seeps from the furnace. An overturned cart spills blankets and boots. A German shepherd dog whimpers, tied to a post, abandoned. Medical supplies are scarce. Gauze, morphine, iodine. A British medic moves through the crowd, pressing morphine into skeletal arms. A chaplain prays softly over a dying man. The wind cuts through the seams of O'Neill's jacket. He feels cold to the bone. He hears footsteps approaching. Lieutenant Colonel Warren, his commanding officer, steps up. Warren is a tall man with a mustache turned gray by dust. He nods toward the guards. "Hold them. Headquarters wants them alive for trials," he says. His voice is measured. He smells of tobacco and leather. He looks O'Neill in the eye. "Do not let your men shoot. We need witnesses." O'Neill nods. He knows the order, but he also sees the look of hatred on his soldiers' faces. He senses their desire for revenge. It's a tightrope walk. On one side is justice. On the other, vengeance. Under his boots, the earth feels unsteady. On his shoulders, the weight of war presses. His right hand rests on his Lee Enfield rifle. Its metal is cold. His fingers trace the bolt action. The rifle has been his companion for months. It is both tool and symbol. It can kill. It can protect. It can serve mercy or serve wrath. The choice is his. The moment comes suddenly. The white armband prisoner raises his club and charges the young SS guard. Others follow, wielding sticks, rocks, and improvised knives. O'Neill sees the guard's eyes widen. They are blue, like his brother's. The boy stumbles backwards, hands raised, crying in German. No one listens. A British soldier looks away. Another Canadian lifts his rifle but does not fire. Some prisoners cheer. The guard trips over a body and falls. The prisoner brings the club down. The scene is a blur of motion, mud, and rage. The sergeant's mind races. He can stand aside and let the mob kill the guard. He can look the other way and obey the tacit order to allow revenge. No one would blame him. The man on the ground wears an insignia that represents the worst of Nazism. His comrades have committed unspeakable crimes. Many believe no mercy should be shown. But O'Neill sees more. He sees a teenager, trembling, defenseless. He sees a life measured in months, shaped by propaganda. He remembers his father telling him that even an enemy is a human being when he is unarmed. He hears his mother's voice reading scripture, "Love your enemy." He feels the weight of his rifle. It could be used to end a life or to shield one. He steps forward. He thrusts himself between the prisoner and the guard. His boots slip in the mud. The club comes down. He catches it with his left forearm. Pain shoots up to his elbow. He grunts. His right hand raises the rifle, not at the guard, but at the mob. His voice is loud, clear, cutting through the chaos. "Stop!" The word echoes off the barracks. For a moment, everything freezes. Rain taps on metal. A crow calls. The prisoner's eyes burn with fury. His knuckles are white on the club. He speaks in Polish. O'Neill doesn't understand all the words, but he hears murderer and child. The sergeant shakes his head. He does not lower his weapon. He cannot explain his decision in that instant. He only feels he must act. To let the guard die would be easy. To intervene is hard. He fears his men's reaction. He fears the anger of the prisoners. He fears being called a traitor. But he fears more what he will become if he allows another senseless killing. The moral choice becomes an action. O'Neill steps further, using his body as a shield. The prisoner swings the club again, striking O'Neill on the shoulder. The sergeant winces. He stands firm. He speaks slowly, using words he hopes the prisoner will understand. "War is over," he says. "No more killing." His breath forms clouds in the cold air. The prisoner hesitates. Others shout in different languages. French, Russian, Czech. A Russian woman throws a stone. It hits the ground near O'Neill's boot. The guard on the ground crawls, grabs O'Neill's boot, pleads, "Bitte!" O'Neill does not answer him. He keeps his eyes on the mob. He senses movement behind him. He trusts that some of his men have joined him. He hears Private Harris, a 19-year-old from Winnipeg, murmur, "Sarge, are you sure?" O'Neill nods. He does not speak. He cannot rationalize. He can only act. In his mind, he pictures his brother on the beach at Juneau. He pictures the letter his mother received. He pictures the face of his first kill in Normandy. He remembers the emptiness he felt. He does not want that emptiness again. He lowers his rifle slightly, not as a threat, but as a barrier. He signals to his men. They close ranks around the guard. The mob jeers. Someone spits. A bottle breaks. But the prisoners do not advance further. The choice continues. O'Neill orders 2 soldiers to take the guard into custody. They lift the boy, who shakes uncontrollably. He bleeds from his forehead. His hands are bound. He repeats, Ich wollte nicht. The sergeant does not answer. He leads the group toward the edge of the compound, away from the angry crowd. He feels eyes boring into his back. He hears a whisper, "Traitor." He hears another, "He saved a Nazi." He hears his own heartbeat. At the gate, Lieutenant Colonel Warren intercepts them. Warren's jaw is tight. "What are you doing?" he asks. O'Neill replies, "Following orders." Taking prisoners. Warren glances at the bleeding guard, then at the mob. He pauses. His eyes soften. He nods. "Get him to the truck. And keep your head down." There will be questions. O'Neill nods. He knows. He walks on, feeling the weight of his decision. Behind him, he hears the sound of beating, shouting, and perhaps killing. He cannot save everyone. He saved one. He wonders if that is enough. His shoulder throbs. His heart races. His conscience is awake. The philosophical weight of the choice settles. O'Neill considers what it means to be human in a war that has stripped humanity. He thinks about orders and obedience. He wonders where conscience fits within command structures. He hears the voices of war correspondents describing atrocities and reprisals. He recalls a sermon from his childhood. He who saves one life saves the world entire. He wonders if he believes it. He wonders if there will be consequences beyond the battlefield. He knows that by stepping between the prisoner and the guard, he has inserted himself into a historical narrative. He has chosen compassion over vengeance. He does not know if it will matter. But in that moment, he feels human again. The rain continues through the afternoon. Trucks arrive to transport guards and survivors. The prisoners who remain alive are given blankets, soup, and medicine. Many cannot eat, their stomachs shrunken by starvation. Doctors warn against feeding them too quickly. Some survivors die despite treatment. The camp is cataloged by photographers and medical officers. Evidence is gathered. Names are recorded. O'Neill spends hours helping to carry bodies to a makeshift morgue. He smells formaldehyde and smoke. At dusk, he writes a report. He notes the number of guards detained, the condition of the prisoners, the location of mass graves. He adds a single line about the incident. One guard was protected from prisoner violence by Sergeant J. O'Neill, he writes. He wonders if anyone will read it. He wonders if it will be praised or condemned. The next day, military police arrive. They question O'Neill. "Why did you interfere?" one asks. O'Neill replies, "Because he was a prisoner. Because I could." The investigator scribbles notes. He does not comment. Later, at a briefing, Lieutenant Colonel Warren defends O'Neill's decision. He argues that discipline and control are necessary in liberated camps. He reminds his superiors that they need testimony to convict war criminals. He points out that summary executions, even by freed prisoners, weaken moral authority. Command nods, but warns O'Neill not to repeat the action. Some of O'Neill's fellow sergeants whisper behind his back. They call him soft. Others quietly thank him. A French interpreter shakes his hand. "Merci," she says. "You saved our soul." O'Neill smiles faintly. He does not feel heroic. He feels tired. The war ends 3 weeks later. Hitler is dead. Germany surrenders. O'Neill is sent home. He returns to his family farm in Ontario. He marries his childhood sweetheart. He has children. He seldom speaks of the war. He never mentions the camp. At night, he wakes from dreams of mud and barbed wire. He hears the word traitor whispered in the wind. He also hears the word merci. He wonders if he did the right thing. In the years that follow, war crimes trials take place in Nuremberg. People talk about justice. Photographs of concentration camps shock the world. O'Neill watches the news and feels both vindicated and uneasy. He sees men in uniforms like the one he saved stand in the dock. They are sentenced to prison or death. He wonders about the boy. Did he stand in that dock? Did he tell his story? Did anyone believe him when he said he never fired? O'Neill does not know. Spring 1975, a farmhouse kitchen in Ontario. O'Neill is older now, hair gray, hands still strong. A letter arrives from Germany. The stamp shows a cathedral. The handwriting is careful. He opens it. The paper smells faintly of tobacco. The letter is in English. It begins, "Dear Sergeant O'Neill, I hope this reaches you. My name is Dr. Friedrich Heinrich. 30 years ago, you stepped between me and a mob at a camp near Kleinwald. I was a young guard, conscripted from the Hitler Youth. I did not choose that job. I was ordered to serve. When the prisoners came for us, I thought I would die. You raised your rifle. You spared my life. I have carried that moment ever since. I was interned for 2 years. I was later released. I became a doctor. I now work in a hospital in Dresden. I have delivered babies, stitched wounds, and comforted the dying. I have tried to live in a way that honors the chance you gave me. I know many will never forgive me for wearing that uniform. I do not forgive myself. But I want you to know that your act of mercy changed me. It taught me that decency exists even in war. It showed me that one man can draw a line, even when everyone around him has lost their moral compass. Thank you. Respectfully, Friedrich. O'Neill reads the letter twice. Tears form. He had not expected thanks. He remembers the boy's eyes. He remembers the club raised to strike. He remembers the rain. He feels a weight lift. He folds the letter and places it in a drawer with his medals. He thinks about rope and rifles, orders, and conscience. He whispers to himself, "We are what we choose to save." He steps outside. The wind rustles the wheat. The sky is clear. He feels both old and alive. He knows the world is complicated. He knows choices have consequences. He also knows that mercy is a form of courage. He tells no one about the letter. But when his grandchildren ask about the war, he tells them a story about a rope. A rope can hang a person, he says, or it can mark the line between conscience and obedience. He looks at their young faces. He hopes they will never have to make the choice he made. The epilogue ends with a reflection. War strips away masks and exposes souls. In 1945, in a place of death, a man chose life for another. That choice rippled outward, touching lives unseen. The rope he held was not just fiber, it was a line between vengeance and mercy. The story asks us to think differently about duty and compassion. If this story made you think about mercy and duty, share it. Remember that humanity is also a form of bravery. Remember that even in the darkest moments, a single act of conscience can illuminate the path forward.